The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
4 seasons of The Mandalorian confirmed, but maybe how Moff Gideon plays a critical role in this new information.
Do you sense that? That's the sound of your wallet being drained every Mando Monday, faster than Lando can beat you at a back table.
And we want to know just how much do Star Wars fans really know about the High Republic that's going to come out in January? Like, do you know what the High Republic is? Do we know what the High Republic is? I mean, there's lightsabers and Jedi. Maybe we should do some research.
The farthest reaches of the galaxy, the Midwest. You're watching Beyond the Blast Doors live.
Welcome into Beyond the Blast Doors live on a Thursday, episode 89. The Mandalorian returns. Do we have a rumor about a 4th season of it? There's going to be 17 episodes of The Mandalorian before we all know it. Of course, you can catch us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, however you are listening or watching. Welcome into our Star Wars conversation. David Amilati, Pete Fletzer with you. My goodness, Pete, we were sitting there wondering, oh man, is there going to be something we can talk about on the show this week? And in the matter of like 72 hours, it's happened like this the last 3 weeks, Pete, where stuff just falls. And here we are wondering, Boba Fett, like there might be some like legitimacy to him being in the Mandalorian season 2. But before we get to that, I just want to know, how the heck are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. It is a Thursday night, and I'm talking about Star Wars. I mean, every week that we get to do this, I'm just like, I'm excited to be able to do this. You know, it's so great. We have in the live chat, we have our usuals, the great folks who join us every week, the Gilsters, the Matthews, the Dales in there. We see, you know, so just to be able to get and talk with all of you guys, it makes the tough parts of the social media fandom all worthwhile.
It really does. And there is a lot to get to this week. We mentioned some of those things off the top. But one of the things we want to talk about right away is the poll of the week. And let me see. I want to make sure that this is the most up-to-date here that we have.
Mm-hmm.
If I can bring this up. The poll of the week. Yes, look at this. I'm going to make it a little bit larger so that we can all read. And the results here are quite astonishing, Pete. We asked, how do you feel about Tamora Morrison's agent leaking incredibly spoiler-heavy info on Tamora's profile? 38.6%. The overwhelming majority here say, I don't care.
I don't care.
Well, is that fair, Pete, though? Because 38.6 say they don't care. 27.7 say what's happening.
Right.
19% say they're pissed. And 14% say, I'm all for it. What the hell? What are we supposed to make of this, Pete?
Well, so yeah, I don't know. Do we want to say what they said on his? Well, no. You know what? Honestly, only 20% of people are pissed, so we can just go ahead and say it. Apparently, Tamora Morrison's agent put up on his bio that he plays Boba Fett in season 2 of The Mandalorian. So okay, I was pissed. I didn't want to know that. It felt like it was the last of the secrets that were left. Mm-hmm. But who knows? There's so much going on. I mean, we just had a potential leak about Ezra in either season 2 or 3 today with I can't remember the actor's name.
No, I got it right here. What is going on in the world, dude? Because I saw this. It's Raul Kali.
Yes.
And he has like this beard, and it's a good-looking beard.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, he puts up on Twitter, he goes, hey, I'm kind of look like a older Ezra that's been training under Kanan or whatever. And before you know it, Ezra is trending on Twitter. Yep. So it caught wildfire quick. Now he comes out and says in a video, Pete, that he was just joking, but he was in his car with the Mandalorian score underneath. Yeah. So like he had to put some effort into making this happen.
And then a big wink at the end. And it was, look, I first of all, of all the list of characters we thought we might see in Mando, he was kind of in the middle to the bottom of ones I would expect. Mm-hmm. I didn't really think I want to see it, but now this guy just seems so cool and like a Star Wars fan. So you know what? Let's bring him in. So who knows what's going to happen? But it's this weird sort of flow of things that's coming from the leak space, the rumor space. We're not getting any official news, and I think this is, it's the old phrase in public relations: in the absence of a narrative, one is made, and. And so there is no narrative. There is nothing coming from Lucasfilm. They drop the trailer and then go silent. They give us the Entertainment Weekly thing, which frankly, was there anything new in that? Not really. So people want to know things and are willing to run with it. And look, if Tamara Morrison is Boba Fett, I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised. Disappointed to know. I don't know anymore. I just want the show to start. Give me October 30th. I'm ready. Let's keep these meteors that are passing the Earth far enough away so that we can get through to it. And we need something in 2020, and this is going to be it.
I was going to say, what if the power goes out on the day that the Mandalorian season 2 is supposed to drop? That first episode, and the power grid shuts down.
It is way too close to Election Day.
President Trump says no matter what that he won't give up his power. So I mean that's exciting. It's like sometimes I'm like, am I living in Star Wars? Like. Yeah. What the heck is happening?
Yeah, I'm not going to give up my power until the Mandalorian season 2 is over. And then that I don't know. But yeah, so it's interesting that we continue to rely more on the Kessel Run transmissions type of stories for Star Wars news than Star Wars.
Well, we talk about this often though, Pete. There is a strategy with releasing this information. And we did the trailer deep dive a couple weeks ago. We talked about what we liked, what we didn't like in that trailer. And the fact that it played more like a teaser, they're keeping a lot under wraps. And here's my thing. Mm-hmm. There's two options. You either try and top the reveal of the child in season 2, or you just have every cameo you can possibly have in season 2. There's no way, if there is an Ahsoka, if there is a Boba, there's no way they can do an Ezra and a Sabine. Something's got to give here. But we are going to get into a lot of streaming Star Wars information here in the very near future. Actually, it's going to happen right now because we are going to get into our streaming Star Wars segment here on BTB Live, episode 89. So glad that you are with us. And the first topic this week, Cassian Andor series showrunner Tony Gilroy. Yes, the man who arguably saved Rogue One, arguably the best Disney Star Wars movie, arguably my favorite Star Wars movie. You didn't ask, I know. But Tony Gilroy hands off directing duties to Toby Haynes. And this is a story that, Pete, we selfishly really get hypersensitive, hyper-aware about because this is, again, a Star Wars property having a baton handoff with its directors. We talk about the kerfuffle with Solo is the most notable.
Right.
You had some changing of strategy for The Rise of Skywalker. The list goes kind of on and on here. Deadline is the one that reported this story exclusively, saying that Gilroy is going to hand off those duties, and it's all because of travel restrictions because of the pandemic. So Gilroy is still the showrunner here of the series. He's the executive producer. He'd been expected to direct the first 3 episodes of this season, so that's now going to be Haynes. But since we have Gilroy based in New York, he would have to travel to London for shooting. So I guess it's not a creative issue, Pete. It is seriously just the world we are living in.
Yep.
So when you hear this, how does that make you feel about this project moving forward? Because it's not like Cassian Andor, this project hasn't had hiccups in the past. I mean, it's been a bumpy ride. There were 2 directors before Tony stepped up to the plate. How are you feeling right now with this logistics change?
Well, I think the fact that it is Toby Haynes makes me feel a little bit better. He won an Emmy for that very famous and a lot of
Well, it looks like we lost Pete. That was terrifying. Oh, my gosh. It looked like he froze mid-sneeze. We're going to try and bring Pete back into the conversation here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, it'll just be you and I in this moment together, and that's totally fine. Very curious to see what Pete thinks about this. Very curious to see what you think about this news that Toby Haynes is coming in. to do the first 3 episodes. He was projected actually to do later episodes in the season. So it's not like he's someone that is brand new to this project. He has been working with Gilroy. At least that's what we know from this report from Deadline. And when we get into who is Toby Haynes, he's the guy who directed an episode of Black Mirror. You might have heard about it. It won an Emmy. He's also directed an HBO movie called Brexit that was with Benedict Cumberbatch. And so he's also, I think there's like an Amazon series called like Utopia or Utopian. I think it's Utopia, which is actually dropping. I think it drops tomorrow. So there's a lot happening in his IMDb right now. What's really exciting to me is that we have an opportunity now to get 2 directors on this series that have big budget experience, also experience with bigger names. Now you might, Felicity Jones may be the biggest name. Well, that's not necessarily true. Depend, Paul Bettany's also in Rogue One. Well, no, he was not in Rogue One. He was not. He was in Solo, wasn't he? So Felicity Jones, probably the biggest name in Rogue One that Gilroy might have worked with. You have Toby Haynes working with some big names too. So there's a lot of experience here. I think if he was already brought in on that first season to do some work on the back end, got no problem working with. I have no concerns of him doing the first 3 episodes. I would imagine, just like Pete and I, hopefully that there's not a connection issue so they lose contact. But I would think with Zoom or with Skype, they would be able to have conference calls, make sure they're on the same page with that, the first 3 seasons or the first 3 episodes of season 1. So I'm not concerned. I'm just excited that Tony Gilroy is part of the project. But here's just an example of how the pandemic is impacting the Star Wars galaxy. We kind of use Star Wars as our escape, and here he is. The pandemic. The pandemic is definitely a he. We both know that. Hey, let's go ahead and dive into the live chat right now. I want to know what you think about the Cassian Andor news that Tony Gilroy is going to have to hand off those first 3 episodes to another director. What do you think? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, if you're watching on the live chat, let us know in the live chat. Catch us on the rewind. Tweet us at BTBD Star Wars. If you're listening to that podcast we're going to try and bring in. Let's try and bring in Pete Fletzer. We're going to see if we can bring him back in and get him to join. Oh, there's some nice little beat. Is that loud enough for everybody? Oh, my gosh. Pete, you're back, buddy. How you doing?
I am. I'm good.
What the heck happened? You were there and then you were gone?
I had a bit of an internet bloop.
Oh, my gosh. We're all having internet bloops. I mean, I'm having a bloop right now, and I'm trying to get you back on screen. So I just rattled off my thoughts about it.
I watched
I'm not
you
too
on
concerned.
YouTube. It was really good.
You did? Great. Okay, so I went ahead and gave his IMDb credits, whatever Toby Haynes has done, and I guess I still want to hear, though, like, are you concerned about the handoff, or do you think that it's going to be pretty smooth here? Gilroy working with Toby on those first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think based on the shows that he was working, that he's got experience on, that Amazon show that drops this week, and Black Mirror, one of many people's favorite episode of Black Mirror. He's got really that cinematic style. I'm not worried about it. I think it's and like you were saying earlier, it's not because of creative differences. It's because of just where we are in the world of bringing people together to actually create content. Look, I'd rather them go to somebody like this and get the series underway before there's more opportunity to let it slip and slide as it has for some time. So I'm excited to bring it back.
Yep, right there with you. And I want to see what people are saying in the live chat real quick. Jumping in here right now. Everyone, so we have Dale, we have Comic Bricks in the house, we have Matthew. Matthew's making excuses why you had to leave. Yeah. Pete saying Taco Thursday. That's great. That's just wonderful. Well, it doesn't seem like. Well, here we go. Disney. This stuff on Matthew says Disney has this stuff on lockdown. There's no way that people would be leaking. They are playing via character without Disney's approval. Okay, so he's still on the conversation regarding what we were talking about at the very beginning, which was possibly characters that are going to pop up in season 2 of The Mandalorian. So the live chat is is just having a good old time, but not really related to what we're talking about. And that's okay, because you know what? Honest to God, the live chat is kind of a show of its own, if you're being really honest, which is why you should always join us on the live show. Pete, let's go ahead. Now that we have you back, let's go ahead and slide into the second topic here on BTB Live, episode 89. So glad that everyone's with us right now. Live chat is, like I said, it's roaring. We got a good crowd with us. If you're watching live, do us a favor right now. Share us on your social media. Let's double the live chat. Let's have a blast here on this Thursday night. Second topic of BTBD Live. Giancarlo Esposito claims The Mandalorian will be at least 4 seasons long.
Yeah.
Pete, this is an interview with People. This is actually back on Emmys night, and he shared his excitement. And we have a quote from him, and I was wondering, Pete, could you do me a salad? And can you
Yes.
read the quote that Mr. Giancarlo Esposito put out there for the world?
Yes, he says we're living in a universe that is huge and there's so much to explore. So I think this show is going to lay the groundwork for the depth and breadth that's going to come in season 3 and season 4, where you're really going to start to get answers. So yeah, I think we learned about a 3rd season back in April from Lucasfilms. We were pretty confident about that. It's interesting to hear that Giancarlo Esposito is dropping that there's a 4th season. It makes me wonder what's like how long does Moff Gideon survive? Is he in the 4th season? And the fact that he said what's the phrase here where you're going to really start to get answers. What other kind of mysteries are we going to get over the next couple seasons? So promise me 25 seasons of Mandalorian, and I think I'm going to be there for it. And so
That's like $1 trillion to do.
Yes, it would
That
be
would be very expensive.
Very expensive. But I love that Disney has the confidence in the series, and they have confidence in where it's going. Clearly, Pedro Pascal didn't walk off mid-season, right? So all the rumors that are coming out, all the negativity, which is boiling, is all BS. And I think we're in a spot where we're going to love what we see in season 2, and makes me kind of like, oh no, we're going to want season 3 immediately. So, yeah, just again, as I said before, give me October 30th. Let's get going with this.
I think what I'm really excited about this is, just the commitment here. Disney is down for the long haul, or Lucasfilm, however you want to say it, is down for the long haul here when it comes to this series. And I'm really excited to see just how far they take it. Right now you're seeing images on your screen from that season 2 trailer. And I think that, it's trying to show the galaxy a little bit larger than what season 1 did. I keep saying that season 1 felt very intimate, that it was kind of like an up-close story. It was definitely that father-son exposition. And I love that. I don't want that to go away. But when I think about his words, I'm going exactly where you're going is, well, how much does he really know?
Right.
About this 2nd season? How much does his character play in this 2nd season and beyond? Because I thought, just as clever as it was to introduce the child so early on in season 1 and completely catch the Star Wars community off guard, Pete, I really enjoyed that at the very end of that 1st season, there's this huge reveal of the Darksaber. And that's something that was a real reward for anyone who watched the Clone Wars, or maybe they watched Rebels, and they knew what that weapon was all about. And so, what is the role of Moff Gideon? Does he have a boss himself? Is he someone else's boss? I'm not quite sure, but I would love that if he has this kind of longer role through, seasons 2, 3, and 4, Pete, because I don't want him to be like, kind of a cliche Star Wars villain that dies, after 45 minutes on screen.
Well, so it'll be interesting too, because we've talked about this. I was actually just recently speaking about this with a guest on Around the Galaxy about, the Mandalorian. The 1st season was really all from the Mandalorian's point of view. Can this show work if it expands its view of the universe? I mean, the fact that we saw a clip in the trailer of Moff Gideon on some sort of Imperial vessel, whatever it was, that means that we're going to see him alone, unless the Mando is captured and is in that room with him. But we're going to see people interact with the universe that aren't the Mandalorian up front, and that's a different way to tell this story. We've been very fortunate with this story to get a story that we like, that's told from a very personal point of view in 35-minute chunks. What does this mean to the way the story is told? Not necessarily is it going to damage the story. I don't think so. I think the story that Filoni and Favreau have in mind is probably incredibly well mapped out. But is it going to change the feel of the show? Is it going to change what we loved about Mandalorian in the first eight episodes? So it's funny you say that, and you just know you're going to love whatever you see. But it's interesting because it's clearly going to directionally shift the way the story is told a little bit, and that's fine too. But but we know that it's going for 4 seasons now, which I love that. But it also, you know that this story isn't going to be finite in season 2. You know it's not going to be finite in season 3. So
I'm really excited about it. My one concern is Del Rey Star Wars just put out a thing on Twitter how they're finalizing from a certain point of view the Empire Strikes Back edition, which for A New Hope it was absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
But there's some things that I just don't need explained, and the name of Yoda species, I just feel like that's too intense for me. Even I don't need to know that piece of trivia. I don't think you need to know that piece of trivia. I don't think if you do know that piece of trivia, it changes your viewpoint of the Star Wars story.
Right.
So here's fingers crossed. Would love to see season 4. It's a funny comment. Like you mentioned, back in April, we heard about season 3. It'll be interesting if we get a little bit more tidbit about season 4. Jon Favreau from set, we know, likes to have fun and throwing photos out there early. And that's how we kind of knew about the production of season 2 already getting underway. So we'll continue to follow this. It's really exciting. I'm like you. I'd like it to be an odd number of seasons, though. So he said 4. I'd like 5. If he says 6, I'd like 7. I'm not asking for too much, I don't think. But whether you agree or disagree, let us know down in the comments below. If you're watching live, let us know in the live chat. As always, if you're catching us on the rewind, listening to the podcast form of the show, you can let us know at BTBD Star Wars. I want to take a chance now and dive in the live chat because, Pete, they're rolling crazy with it right now.
Excellent.
And I want to get your feedback on a few things. Matthew says, everybody's going crazy about all these new characters that are supposed to be in The Mandalorian, but Moff Gideon is going to be the best part of season 2. And yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. And it's kind of like what we were saying, right? Like, we want him to be the best part of season 2. We wanted him to be relevant for season 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard to say that he's going to be the best part of season 2 since we, there's so much else that's been teased. I don't disagree. I think he has the potential to be one of the better Star Wars villains. I think and you made a really interesting point. So many great Star Wars villains come and go. You could look at the sequel trilogy. You really didn't even have a villain other than the overarching Palpatine. You had
Great point yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so it's you don't really have that kind of ongoing villain. And I think a series like this would really benefit from that. And he's a great villain as an actor, and the little screen time he had in season 1, nobody disliked it, right? I mean, so I would love to see him survive for four seasons, and maybe he rolls into the First Order. So that would be interesting as well.
Afra's Artifacts is with us and mentions Enfys Nest, that there could be some kind of role there.
That'd be great.
That's quite a jump in the timeline, but I'm not opposed to it by any means. Andy says Boba will be in the season 2 finale. He also says in the live chat that he thinks that Palpatine is Moff Gideon's boss for this, and somehow he's being utilized for the cloning process. And, of course, as fans, we know the story on the outside. The characters don't. But, yeah, we know that, several, a couple decades down the road, Palpatine's been cloning himself. But that would be interesting. What if the cloning that the Kaminoan doctor in season 1, they're doing tests on the child because these are actually tests that could be used for Palpatine's plan. Maybe it's there's a lot of webs, and that's a lot of speculation, and it kind of seems far-fetched. But honest to God, you know what? Palpatine was cloning himself for 3 decades, so I think that anything can happen at this point in Star Wars.
Well, think about that. Think about how great it would be if the Mandalorian. So you have the Easter eggs, which connected to the stories that we're familiar with, the stories that we know and love. But what if it helps give us some of the answers to the rise of Skywalker? My least favorite line in any Star Wars is now officially somehow Palpatine has returned, right? Okay. So maybe this is the somehow Palpatine has returned, right? So I would love to see it. Let's see a connection to it. That would be fine.
I hate Twitter so much because no one watching or listening to the show gives a damn. But I saw somebody that said that podcasters suck because they don't want to talk about how bad The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker is. And I honestly, I don't know. I think that crawl gives me so much hope and so much disappointment at the same time, where I feel like if you want to know how I feel about that movie, just read the crawl of that movie and you let me know what you feel. I love this. People are talking about Moff's a chicken Gilster says. They're talking. Matthew H says Baby Yoda's cousin Gizmo will make an appearance in season 3. He also says that he is going to be cast as the Darksaber, like he himself, actually the human being, will play the Darksaber. I want it to be, what was that character that Eddie Murphy played on SNL? Gumby. Wouldn't it be funny if Matthew walked on screen as a Darksaber version? And that would be, can you imagine Moff Gideon trying to hold on to him? Yeah. I'm the Darksaber, damn it. Just unbelievable. That's my attempt at being a corrupt Jewish guy in the 1950s on Hollywood Boulevard. Okay, so that's not why you watch the show, though. You watch the show to talk Star Wars, we think. Loving everyone's having a good time. Someone's attacking you for having a blue light under your stormtrooper. I don't think he's attacking you, though. It looks pretty sexy. I like the red under the Kylo mask.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sassy?
Yeah,
it's sassy?
Not sexy, it's sassy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could change it. I mean, what color does...
No, it's... You know what? You just keep doing you, babe. You're having a good time. You're having a good time. Okay. Afra's Artifacts is correcting me. She said, no. I said Enfys Nest actress said that Solo was supposed to be multiple movies. Well, yes. You know what? We'll address this right now since you brought it up. Yeah, it was supposed to be 3, right? Because Alden Ehrenreich came out and said that he was signed for 3. And now if you believe the rumors, there's apparently a Solo project for Disney Plus underway, which makes a lot of sense. We're all hoping for it. You know, we all participate with, make Solo 2 happen, all that stuff on social media. So, we're optimistic. Would love to see that. But I kind of like the idea. I liked My Mistake better, Pete. I mean, Enfys Nest showing up 3 decades later or whatever, however many years that time's out, and she's just rolling around.
Let's see her in the Cassian series. That would be cool. I'd love to see that.
Oh, that would time out pretty well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would work out really well, I think.
And then play a little bit more. Yeah, with Cassian being this spy trying to figure it out leading up to Rogue One. That would be really exceptional stuff. Gilster just gave us a super chat. We appreciate that. He says the Rise of Skywalker is Legends, not canon. Gilster, we all get our opinion, but Rise of Skywalker is canonical canon. Canonical Star Wars canonical canon. There's no way around that. But yeah, I mean, I think you can, if that makes you feel good, then that makes you feel good. And that's hey, I just want us to have fun and have a good time and talk Star Wars. I'm not here to be a troll or whatever the hell the Phantom Menace crap is on Twitter. I don't know what this stuff is. I'm on Twitter for 8 hours a day with work, and then I get on my Star Wars account, and then it's all these people just yelling at each other, and I'm just like, my mind's numb.
It's usually me getting into trouble doing something.
It is sometimes Pete getting in trouble. Pete likes to start trash, and it's
it's
annoying.
Start it. I just don't like to end it.
He doesn't. You elongate it. It's kind of like And here's the thing, I love Manny and I have been married for 4 or 5 months at this point. I don't know math. And we really don't have these arguments, but it's I always feel like someone's always complaining about their wife just never drops it. That's you in my life, Pete. You never drop a damn thing. Someone could
go.
Be
that's right. Yeah.
They'd be like, Darth Maul had a quadruple bladed lightsaber. You're like, no, that's not how it worked. And it's all right, here we go. Here's the next half hour. I'm just going to be scrolling along. I'm going to be drinking whiskey, just trying to numb the pain. Anyways.
Get out more, maybe. That's it. Yeah.
Pete, God love you. Episode, we're having a good time. I like how relaxed this episode is. It's really enjoyable.
It's chill.
People run with Canonical Canon for the love of God, please. That would be the best thing to come out of this episode. I think so. Canonical Canon here on BTB Live, episode 89. Hey, part of the Star Wars conversation is that, we talk about the movies, and we like to talk about streaming Star Wars products, and we like to talk about the books and the comics. Oh, I said comics. I'm really excited about this. Marie Wilson is a friend of our show, and she's also a member of our team over at BeyondTheBlastDoors.com. She does weekly comic book reviews, and she is joining us here on the show. We're going to be talking about Bounty Hunter #5. And, it's great as Pete does not like the comics. So Marie and I are talking about comics.
I'm glad. Let me put it this way. I'm glad somebody else is talking about comics. That's the way I'll position it.
Hey, you're watching BTB Live, episode 89. We'll be right back with Marie Wilson. Well, after a several-month hiatus, we are joined once again with Marie Wilson here on BTBD Live, talking about Star Wars comics. She's waving at you. She's that happy. We're happy. I'm happy. She's happy. You're happy. We're all happy to be talking about Star Wars comic books. And you know this. There's been a several-month hiatus also of just comics in general because of the pandemic. And Marie, we've really been treated in the last couple of weeks since we've gotten comics back on the shelves at our LCSs. It's Vader, it's Afra, it's this Bounty Hunters issue that we're going to jump into a little bit. As a fan of Star Wars and comics, what does it mean to you just to have comics back in our life?
Oh my goodness, the stories that can be explored, the new interesting characters that are introduced, just the visual engaging look into the Star Wars world is so much fun to explore and to read. And so I am super happy that they are back.
And when you think about Bounty Hunters 5, I think a really cool story from Ethan Sachs. I think he's done a really nice job writing the story so far through 5 issues. Going into this comic this week, what were your hopes?
Oh man. Well, last issue ended with Boba Fett coming in and just killing Tonga out of nowhere. And I was like, what is going on? So I knew Boba Fett was going to be in a rage and doing crazy things. But what I didn't expect was the backstory we got for Nakano Lash. That was fascinating. Getting to see why she was so hell bent on saving the pregnant Crinthia and saving her child. So that was really cool to see why Nakano Lash is the way she is.
And, we mentioned some character names here. Let's take a moment for someone who's not reading this line. They might want to get into it. I guess we should say spoiler at this point. Sorry. I just made my David face from Schitt's Creek. Can you talk to Miss Murray? Like, what's a brief summarization of what this comic series is about? Why should someone read it?
Okay, so years and years and years ago on Corellia, Nakano Lash and her team of bounty hunters went in, and there's the Unbroken Clan Syndicate and the Mourner's Wail Syndicate, and they're at war. And so her crew of bounty hunters went in to the Unbroken Clan stronghold, and they were taking the Mourner's Wail Syndicate heir into this stronghold, so the enemy. And there was a issue that happened where their client, the Mourner's Wail Syndicate heir, got killed by Nakano Lash, and nobody knew why that happened. And so everyone was up in arms against Nakano Lash. She betrayed us. She's horrible. And we have just recently found out that that was because she was protecting a pregnant woman.
Very interesting. And right now on screen, we're showing you panels from this week's comic, number 5. And it's, yes, the Battle of the Bounty Hunters. Marie, take us into this issue. I love the story, but I love the action here, especially a lot of close combat. Can you talk about what we're seeing in these panels?
So there is a hand-to-hand combat battle between Boba Fett and Baylor Valance, and it gets really intense. But the best thing about this issue is that you can understand what's happening in this hand-to-hand combat. It's very clear what is going on. And probably my favorite image is when Boba Fett calls Baylor Valance a droid, and he's like, I'm not a droid, and then uses his cyborgness to push Boba Fett into the wall. So he kind of goes against what he originally said, because he's proving that he is part machine. But I and we learned that Baylor Valance is actually a deeply caring person, which is really cool to see, since we saw him in Han Solo Imperial Cadet, and he was very imperial and do the job and, forget everyone else, just out for yourself. And so it's neat to see him develop into a more caring character.
I love that. And, Marie, when you think about this story, um, it's not Jedi and Sith. It's not the rebels versus the Empire. Really, uh, this is bounty hunters. This is a new world, and they're characters that, unless you're following from issue number one, you don't have a real investment in. So, why would you say that someone learning about this for the first time, this is a comic book you got to make sure that you pick up the next time you're at your local comic book shop?
I think the cool thing is it gets into the underworld. So we have the Unbroken Clan syndicates, what seems to be their leader now, Vukora, appears. And so you've got these syndicates that are fighting, you have bounty hunters. So, and you've got the underworld. So this thing that we have been wanting for so long, and they've given it to us. It may not be exactly the way we had thought it would be, but it is the underworld.
Well, Marie, I'm so thankful to be able to join you this week and talk about Star Wars comic books. Can you give us a little tease next week? What should we expect to be able to dive into in this galaxy far, far away?
Well, the next issue of Dr. Afra is coming out, which is really exciting because I love her. So in this issue, in the last issue, she was betrayed by two different people in her crew. So I am super curious to see how that's going to play out. And I love that whenever I finish a Dr. Afra issue, I always say to myself, oh no, how's she going to get out of it this time? Because, and she always does, but that's always my reaction. That's always my reaction because she ends up in the most bizarre situations.
And I think that's what I like about it. And honestly, sometimes reading Afra, both the original run and this one, it sometimes feels like Scooby-Doo, right? Like, it's going to be a 23-minute read. I mean, I'm a slow reader, so it's going to be a 23-minute read. It's this kooky adventure. There's always a cliffhanger. You're going to come back to the next issue. I love it. I'm really enjoying the Darth Vader run right now. It's really good stuff with Padme and her handmaidens. Really good stuff. We can talk about all that, though, next week. Marie, before I leave you, what's the best place to find you if we want to interact with you on social?
I'm on Twitter at Alia Morgaine.
All right. Thank you so much, Marie. And we'll see you next week.
Okay. Awesome.
Big thanks to Marie for joining us for BTB Live. Just a real treat to have her back. And, of course, she's back because we have Star Wars Comic back. So just really great to have her with us. And always enjoy her insight. And, so every week, Marie's going to join us on BTB Live. In that fashion, maybe we'll bring her on as a guest, but to be able to talk Star Wars comics, because we do want to give you that complete experience. And Pete, where the best place to get that complete fan experience is beyondtheblastdoors.com, right?
It absolutely is. When you wake up in the morning and you need that Star Wars fix, don't go to some of those other crummy places.
Whoa!
Well, the ones that are clickbait. You will not find clickbait on beyondtheblastdoors.com. So that should be the first place you should go. We wanted to give you the complete experience, our latest live shows, our podcast feeds, news, speculation, opinion pieces, comic book reviews, like you just heard, all written by BTBD network personalities that you enjoy. So whether it's movies, TVs, books, comics, toys, cosplay, the Beyond the Blast Doors network is the place to be. Welcome to our Star Wars conversation.
I think we're doing a pretty good job keeping that promise, Pete.
I think so. Yeah.
Looking at the website right now, I mean, my God, you got a little bit of everything, don't you?
I'm really proud. This is the moment of the show where we toot our own horns. But I have to say, honestly, I'm really proud of the work that we've done with this great team, with the Holly Chronicles boys, Josh and Andy, with Scotty and Jerry from Bombad Cast, and of course Shannon with Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. Quality content, and again, I think you're going to see different points of view. I mean, what you're going to want to watch for. We were just talking about this today. Is hey, Squadrons drops. What is it, next week?
Yes.
Wait,
is it tomorrow?
No,
I thought it dropped tomorrow.
No, it's I think it's October 2nd, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's next week. We're going to be on there playing with you if you want to play with us. So, I love the community that we're building. I love all the people on the network that are building the content. And I'm really proud of this place that we've built together. So please be a part of it. Come and check out beyondtheblastdoors.com.
Yeah, I'm just clicking around the website right now, and I just wanted to show the fact that, we just talked with Marie about Bounty Hunters number 5. You can actually go to beyondtheblastdoors.com right now, and you can pull up her review. And after the show, you're going to be able to find that interview here with this article. So we're really trying to give you not just like a thorough, reaction to the content that we cover here on the website, but we're also trying to give you that multimedia experience. And so Murray just really knocks this one out of the park. Keep in mind, these are spoiler reviews. So the whole idea with us doing it this way is the fact that we believe that when you come to our website or you're part of our Star Wars conversation, you are wanting to know what happened because you've either bought the comic and you just want to see our reaction to things, or you don't have time to read the comic, so you just want to read like a one-page synopsis. So that's what we're doing over on beyondtheblastdoors.com, and we're glad that you're joining with us. It's growing. It's very exciting, and Pete, we have fun.
We have fun. That's, I think, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And honestly, I mean, it's a funny thing, and I think that's a bar that you and I have always sort of tried to measure up to when we're doing things. Is if we enjoy it, we expect that hopefully others will be able to enjoy it as well. So we sort of use ourselves as fans as kind of that measuring stick, and hopefully you're enjoying it with us. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Really appreciate it.
It's a lot of fun here on BTB Live, episode 89, and we're covering so much. I'm going to throw it out there. I believe that Thrawn Ascendancy, that book is still number 9 on the New York Times bestseller. There is a signing opportunity, but I have lost that opportunity, but it's on the website. I'll be sure to put it in the description afterwards. But Timothy Zahn is offering out some autographed copies of his latest Thrawn adventure. Hey, so let's go ahead and dive into the next topic of our show, shall we? Speaking of books, we have this from Charles Soule. He talked with Hollywood Reporter this week about Star Wars: The High Republic and The Light of the Jedi. StarWars.com also put out these graphics today, so I thought I would share them. It's this lightsaber that comes from one of the Jedi that is in the High Republic. This is Stellan. I pronounce this as Stellan Gios, and maybe it's Stellan Eos. Maybe the G is silent. I'm not quite sure. But you know what? That's the fun thing with the books, right? Is because the fun thing with the books is that you can have you can have your own translation of a name. I mean, think about it. When we were all reading Harry Potter books, did we all say Hermione, correct? I'm pretty sure some people out there were saying Hermione. So, I mean, however, honest to God, you say it however the heck you want, because that's the world we live in, Looks like we lost Pete, so we'll bring Pete back into it. Everyone can hear that jingle now. And there he is. My God, I'm going to send you like $30, so that way you can upgrade your internet. Jeez.
I gotta get a bigger hamster on that wheel working it. So,
well, it's it's really, I think it's quite all right. We're doing A-okay. Hey, so I talked about these graphics, but I'll bring us up on screen so that we can start kind of talking about the fact that Charles Soule comes out and he gives like some insight into the Light of the Jedi, which is his book that's going to be dropping. We're going to be able to take our first steps into the era of High Republic this January. And I thought it was pretty interesting, him kind of just explaining, it all kind of starts off with just how this group of writers gathered. And maybe before we even go that far, Pete, I think the actual conversation we want to have here is, like, do Star Wars fans know about the High Republic? Like, we do, because we're in the weeds. I think the people that tune in, they keep up with the show. People have heard us talk about the High Republic, but does the casual fan know? And I would say there's probably like an overwhelming majority that don't, because it's like, the big slice of the pie is the movie-going audience, and then when every other form, it just kind of feels like it's getting smaller. Like I'm excited about this era, but it's like, this is to me like Harry Potter and Star Wars. Like I haven't seen the Star Wars on the screen before. Right. I'm going into a new land. It's several hundred years before the Skywalker saga. I mean, like, where's your excitement level knowing that this is going to take place in, like, 4 months?
I'll be honest. I love Charles Soule. I love Kevin Scott. I love everybody who's involved in it. Mm-hmm. I think they've written some amazing Star Wars. But I have to admit, my interest level is still in the middle. It's not. I'm not pumped for it. I will probably. You know what it is too is you made reference to it half in jest, but it's really true. Like I'm not as into the comics, and this is where this is going to live. I'm not as big into the novels, and this is where this is going to live. I'm a visual Star Wars guy. If this was coming out, High Republic is a Disney Plus series, I'm sure I'd be pushing the chips in right now. But right now, I'm curious about it. And I'll probably follow it, and inevitably I'll get sucked into it. But right now, I'm just, I'm not. Let me put it this way: I'm not disappointed that it's been delayed to January, right? So that's just one opinion, and it's really interesting because I think that's one of the great things about Star Wars is that we can, as fans, have this different perspective and this different interest level. And I know there's people who are foaming at the mouth who just cannot wait for this to come out, and that's awesome. That is great that this is in that zone for you. For me, I mean, where are you on it? I don't know how you feel about it.
If I'm being like completely honest with you, I'm gonna nitpick. So I'm gonna start with the Charles Soule novel, as we've said, it comes out in January. I'm gonna start there, and based on how I enjoy that, will determine if I go further. Like Kevin Scott's doing his thing. Like the comics look like they could be fun.
Yep.
But it's here's the thing. This is like real Star Wars that we're not invested in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rogue One, we knew what came next.
Yep.
I was kind of intrigued to see how they got the plans.
Yep.
I was all in. Solo, didn't really agree, but you know what? I still went 3 times in the theater to watch that movie. Yep. You know, so this is the first time where it's really not connected to anything that we know about Star Wars. I mean, even, we got 6 seasons of the Clone Wars, right? Or 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. And that was all out of a line, a sentence from Alec Guinness in 77. But it was still part of the main story. So I'm very fascinated. I know that Yoda's going to be there, right? Angry Yoda. That gif is all over the internet. Charles Soule will make or break this for me. And I think that there were 2 people that would have been great to launch this. It would have either been Claudia Gray or Charles Soule. They're both writing books for Project Luminous, this High Republic era. So I will read Charles Soule. I'll read what Claudia does. And let's be honest, we're going to read the first thing from each of these authors and figure out what this is all about. But do I expect to play in it as much as The Mandalorian? Gosh, no. Yep. Because I just think that at this stage of the game, I think if High Republic was a thing that came out when I was in high school or maybe even college, I could really get behind because, like, you know, it'd be kind of like creating it new in your imagination, kind of like Harry Potter. Like, I read those books the first time before the movies came out. I built it up in my head, and then I saw the movies, and I was like, wow, this matches up pretty well. Yep. I'm kind of curious to see how it unfolds. I don't really get off on, like, seeing, like, new lightsaber designs. That doesn't really do anything for me. But like, if it makes you happy, then that's great. And it's like an Excalibur kind of thing, right? It's it's a blue lightsaber and it comes out the sides. I mean, I'll put the graphic up there for everybody. I mean, it's a cool, like, if I had a lightsaber, I would be happy. I think it's maybe not practical here, Pete, because you can see it on your screen. The holster for it has like 3 hooks. That better be magnetic, because I'm telling you, if a Sith Lord comes up on you and you're trying to get that thing out of there and it's hooked on one of those 3, you got problems.
Well, it's interesting because it also feels very stylized. It feels like a very different look and feel for Star Wars, and that's another thing that I think has me less excited, right? Because Star Wars has that grittiness, that dirtiness to it. Even, you know, you can say what you want about the prequels having a different sort of sheen to them. They still went to places that were dirty and grimy, and this looks look, it's gold themed, right? And you know, we can get into conversation about tone palette and all that sort of thing, but it's got a different feel to it, and I'm having a tough time getting excited about it. And honestly, that lightsaber design, it looks cool, but it's not enough to make me change my mind. Even the pissed off Yoda didn't do it for me. So
I would say, though, that, you know, I mentioned what Alec Guinness said in A New Hope, you know, and, you know, the Keepers of the Peace, right, you know, for centuries or whatever the verbatim is, the elegance, I mean, this is an elegant lightsaber blade. It kind of speaks to the elegance of the Jedi Order. This was before the Jedi got involved in the politics of the galaxy. So, you know, I can buy into that. The one thing that Charles Soule said in this interview that I thought was interesting, that I'd like to say real quick is he gives some insight about the Great Disaster, which is kind of the conflict in the galaxy at the time of when his book will come out. And he says the Great Disaster that opens a lot of the Jedi is one of those events. The idea of having a lot of people involved in one big event that operates on a galactic scale is very appealing. I could introduce a large cast in a very organic way, a lot of different locations from the highest levels of galactic government to the quote-unquote Jedi on the street as they respond to the disaster. Plus, it is a chance to show heroism in many different ways. Light of the Jedi has plenty of lightsaber action, but that's just not the only way to solve a problem. And you don't need the Force to be a good person. There's a sort of slogan that pops up in the book, we are all the Republic. And the Great Disaster seemed to be the perfect way to reflect that idea. When I read that again out loud to myself, Pete, I get really excited because the potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we made it clear. We're not feeling it right now because we don't really have a story to read. We're getting, these pictures of lightsabers and we're getting excerpts, and that's all fine and good. But now, here, the Great Disaster. Well, tell me more about that. We have like these big cataclysmic events in Star Wars. There's the one in The Mandalorian. What is it? The Night of 1,000 Sorrows or something?
Yeah, the Night of 1,000 Tears.
It
makes me wonder though, like when that the Sith, if the Sith can it work if the Sith aren't the big bad? And that'll be interesting as well. So look, I'm open-minded to it, and I will. Yeah, am I going to buy the book on day one? Absolutely. Am I going to download the comic? I'm not a big comic guy, but this one I promise I will because there's so much hype around it.
That's fun.
It's interesting. It's an interesting way to put it. There's hype around it, but I'm not hyped about it. So look, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm gonna give it a shot, and we'll see where it goes.
And not everything is made for everyone. And that's a really important thing to keep in mind. What do you think about High Republic? Do you care? Are you excited about it? Tell us what you know in the live chat. Tell us in the comments section. We want to know what you think. I'm going to take a second real quick and look into the live chat and just see what everyone is talking about. Everyone's just having sounds like some people are having video issues this week. So that's very interesting. What's going on there? Seems like there's some lag. Hopefully those folks are working through that, but hopefully we can get through, power on through. We've lost Pete a few times. Maybe that asteroid is a lot closer to Earth than we thought.
It could very well be, yes.
And the world is going to implode. Let's go ahead. Final topic real quick here on this wonderful, gorgeous Thursday night. Mando Mondays is now a real thing, Pete. And when this dropped, were you caught off guard? Because essentially what this is like every Monday we're going to get new looks at exclusive, Mandalorian merch.
Yeah, my first thought was how much merch are they going to put out for this?
Because you'll buy it all.
Because I need to know how much money I need to take away from my children's college fund so that I can do this. But it is, it's what's interesting. What struck me, Star Wars has always been about merch and collectibles and toys and things like that. This is like my first response, honestly, was they're coming right out and being like, yeah, we're going to show you more stuff to buy. Like this was like Force Friday, except it's going to be, 6 weeks in a row or whatever on Mondays. So bring it on. I'm excited to see it. But I just hope they're not saturating things. I'm sure they're not. I have 6 different Baby Yoda pops. So are they going? Can they?
You have a problem.
Well, yeah. There's the problem first of all, but second of all, can they? What else? Is there something they're going to put out that will be too far? And the answer is no. So no, I'm excited, and I like the concept of recognizing that this is the new cash cow for them, and let's bring Star Wars fans what they want. Star Wars fans want merch, so here it is.
That's right, and I've actually got the website article from StarWars.com pulled up. This was one of those where I thought about putting it on BeyondTheBlastDoors.com, but there's just so much. And I was like, why? We're just going to go to StarWars.com for this anyway, so why not? All right. So anyways, I've got some really cool, like retro-looking Kenner figures that are out here. We have the Mandalorian, which looks pretty sweet. We have a Cara Dune that looks really sweet. And then IG-11 has his own kind of retro Kenner figure, which is really cool. Yep. You have Pops. Of course you have Pops. This is a Mando holding the child. It looks like he's got his jetpack activated, and he's actually like in air, which is kind of sweet. Mm-hmm. The Gamorrean fighter, I think, is pretty intriguing. And again, I've never seen a ripped Gamorrean guard until the trailer. So, I mean, I don't think that I will buy either one of these two. I'm on that Hoth Battle of Echo Base series. I'm probably done after that. I think the series is where I'm going to be convinced to keep ordering the pops. But I really like those Black Series figures.
Yeah.
I want to point this one out, Pete, and I don't know how you feel about this. I don't like the Lego statues. There's like a Yoda and Maul one, but the child of all of them, this has to be the best looking one, right?
I guess so, but it still looks weird. I still don't love the Lego versions of these. It's funny. I like building the ships, and that's about where I draw the line. But what else is there really? But these, like, I did one of the helmets. I didn't enjoy that as much as I thought I would. I don't know. Lego to me isn't creatures. It's machines and that sort of thing. So, and it just looks weird to me. I don't know. But to your point, it captures more personality, I think, than the other Yoda, the Yoda proper, if you will.
Would you spend like $600 on a Hot Toys Mandalorian with the child?
If that shows up behind me here in the set, I've won the lottery, because $630 is that's FU money to be buying that kind of thing. So
that's funny. That's FU money, he says. Pete Fletzer, everybody. That's really well. And here's the thing, though: people will spend the money on those pieces, and they look so good, Pete. Like, I'm not trying to be ignorant. Like, they
amazing.
I wish I had them, right? But it's just I can't legitimize that. Sideshow has a really sweet. I say statue. I mean, they're technically toys, but I don't think anyone plays with them. They're multiple $100s. I think they're all shelf pieces for folks. Yep. But I'll keep an eye out. I really like that Mythos. That Mythos set from Sideshow always looks really freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, we're kind of at the end of the show, Pete.
Yeah.
I kind of want to dive into live chat, but we've got a few minutes left, and I thought I would do something fun. I have inherited another Lego set that I have, and I'd like to give it away. I'd like to surprise everybody watching right now. We got a live crowd of, including co-hosts. We got about 20 people live with us right now, and I'm hoping to do something like this every week. I think we can pull this off where we give away. We can mail this off, and I don't know why I was given this again. I've been gifted this Lego set multiple times, and so I'm kind of regifting it in ways. But I want to give away Anakin Starfighter right now on BTB Live, episode 89. It's still in the box, obviously. I mean, it's a really cool set. I have this upstairs. After I'm done with tonight's show, I'm actually going to be constructing my new studio tonight and tomorrow. Really excited. This bad boy is built and going to be on the shelf. Really cool features. You can have it as a nice shelf piece. If you have a kiddo, can be very interactive with, the kids can have a lot of fun with it. And I think what we're going to do, the qualifier, if you want to be entered to win this gift, and it's going to be free, I'm going to ship it to your house. You just have to make sure that when I announce the winner next week of the giveaway, I'm going to announce the giveaway winner next week. I'm going to need your mailing address, and the easiest thing to do will be to email us at beyondtheblastdoors@gmail.com. So I cannot get you a $600 Hot Toys statue, but I can get you a $30, $25 Anakin Skywalker Starfighter. All I'm going to ask you to do is comment down in the comment section. So when the live stream ends, I'm going to ask you to comment in the comment section. I just want you to tell me what you are most excited about for season 2 of The Mandalorian. It can be absolutely anything. It can be things we know. It can be possible cameos. It can be a new ship. Maybe it's the Razor Crest. I would watch the show just for the Razor Crest. Just tell me what you're most excited about for season 2 of The Mandalorian, and then somewhere in that comment you got to say, give me that Starfighter. You tell me what you love about The Mandalorian, and you say, give me that Lego Starfighter. Give me that Lego Starfighter. You're in the contest. You're in the drawing for a brand new Lego set that I will ship off to you, courtesy of the fams here at BTBD Live.
Can I qualify for that?
You can. I'm hoping that enough people qualify that your odds are terrible. Like, your odds are specifically terrible. I would say that you cannot. But I've actually,
right, that's fine.
You have something coming in the mail from me, so you better keep on the lookout, because it's actually supposed to be at your doorstep already. And it's a problem if it doesn't arrive to you.
Ooh,
So you need to
okay.
keep me posted when that package arrives.
I
I'm
have
actually
not-
kind of concerned that you don't have it.
I have not gotten anything yet.
But again, to win, you had to tell me what you like, what you want to see in Mandalorian season 2, and the comment has to say, "Give me that Lego Starfighter." Okay, not in the live chat, in the comment section on YouTube. Okay, I think I've made that pleasantly clear. We have gotten to everything in this show. If you waited until the 58th minute of this episode, you got to know that there was a giveaway, a free giveaway, and you got a way to enter it.
Awesome.
Pete, for the love of God, is there anything that we actually have to? I feel like we've talked about so much in this episode. We did collectibles, we did comics, we talked about the books, we talked about streaming Star Wars, we talked about that thing that no one cares about. Oh, that's right, that Boba is or is not in The Mandalorian. We did all these things. Did we miss something?
I really don't think we did. I think we picked up just about everything that happened this week. And you know what? Luckily, Lucasfilm will inevitably drop some stuff on us for next week's show.
That's so true. That is so true. To Nick Melky, to Mr. Rez, Gallinorian, Saber, Jed, Dale. We got Pete. Pete's in the live chat, you clown. Matthew. We got Gannon. We got Apprentice Ewok. We got Matthew. We've got all of our friends and even some new faces here. We got Anthony, YouTube fan, joining us here in the live chat. So there's some names that, of course, and Afra's Artifacts. Marie's here. Big thanks for everyone joining us on the live show. Always, that's where we want to hang out with you on Thursday nights because that live experience. But, just to remind you, as always, if you can't, you can always catch us on the Rewind on the YouTube channel. Listen to our podcast. Always uploaded the next morning by 8 a.m. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to Star Wars podcasts or really any podcast, you can listen there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Pete, you're a beautiful man. What do you got cooking this coming week?
This upcoming week, we're going to have an Around the Galaxy this past Tuesday. We just dropped Brandon from Talking Bay 94. That was a blast. Check that one out. And then next week, we're going to have James from Rebel Scum podcast. And we spent a lot of time talking about prequels and sequels and original trilogy. It was a lot of fun. It was one of the first episodes in a while where it was just pure movie banter. So check that one out. That'll drop next Tuesday. So thank you for asking.
Well, I try and be a respectable, I'm trying to be a good co-host. I'm trying to be a good friend. I care about you.
I appreciate
apparently, we did get this tease to us coming out October, so I guess it's next month. Gannon in the live chat wants us to shout out the Leia manga. It's the Princess of Alderaan novel. So Claudia Gray's novel is being transformed into manga. They also did this with oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm actually forgetting the name of her first book. This is incredible. This is like the biggest brain fart. I have it behind me right here. Lost Stars. That was
Lost Stars. Yeah,
that was wild. I can't believe I couldn't remember it. It's my favorite Star Wars book in the new canon. So sorry. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think the art looks really fun. I did see the manga version of Lost Stars at a Barnes & Noble several weeks ago. And I flipped through it, and yeah, you go right to left, not left to right in manga, Pete. I don't know if you know that or not.
I know nothing about it.
If you're into manga and you like the crossover Star Wars, great. I think Gannon really likes it too. He's really excited about it. He wanted us to talk about it. Yeah, he must like it. Hey, everybody. It was episode 89 of BTB Live on a Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Always love sharing the Star Wars conversation with you. Be sure you join us again next week, episode 90. It's kind of a running gag. What will we do for 100? We have absolutely no idea.
Don't know.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to